Opposed? No one? Motion carries. Public forum for this evening. Anybody? Call to the podium, Mr. Scott Carlson. The subject is protest. Mr. Carlson, welcome. Just a reminder, we have a 3-minute time limit, and we cannot use any employees' names or student names.
I've never talked 2 minutes in my life. Nice to be here, and I have a lot of familiar faces in the room, so it's great to see you. My name is Scott Carlson. I live right down the street on Maple Avenue. I have the big greenhouse with all the flowers, and the teachers and the principals stop and pick my peonies in the summertime. I was born and raised in Ellenville. I lived on Main Street, so I walked to school past my favorite house in Ellenville. I ended up buying my favorite house in Ellenville. And I'm here with my beautiful daughter, Isabella. The reason I'm here, I recently made a trip to visit my mother in the state of Washington. Ever since my dad passed, I go out for her 92nd birthday. So during that visit, I had occasion to go take her to a doctor's appointment. And coming back, every school we went past, every school had a protest, anti-ICE, anti-president, anti-deportation, and I think the clinch, I probably went by about a half dozen schools because my GPS got me lost. And the last school I went by was an elementary school. I'm telling you, there were kids out this high on the street protesting. Some of the signs were handmade, which makes me wonder, were they made in the classroom? Other signs were obviously professionally done, which makes me think, where did they come from? Outside? Inside? Who paid for it? So I was so struck by it, and I thought about our Ellenville school, and I guess maybe I'm just a mood issue, hopefully, but I just hope we would never entertain that. I just think it was, you know, I don't care if you're, what party you're in, Republican, Democrat, conservative, liberal, I don't care if you're pro-ICE or anti-ICE, it really has nothing to do with it. To see these little kids with signs, it literally broke my heart. So I thought I'd just come and tell you the story. I want to thank the school board for everything you do. I want to thank Lisa, she's been wonderful. And I really appreciate everything you do for my daughter. So thank you.
Mr. Carlson, we can assure you, I spoke to the superintendent on this matter, but we can assure you that we have policies that are very, very strong. We are not political. The school district, there is no business and no place for politics in a school district, and we will not be political. Our policies are very clear as to when and in what instances and what procedures must be followed should law enforcement have to come on school grounds. And we will continue to follow those policies. But I can assure you that these policies are in place, they're strong, and we will continue to follow them, and we will not allow or permit politics in our school district or with our children.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming, and Isabella's always glad to see you. She's my helper. She comes over to my house with her little shovel and helps me shovel the snow and throw some salt around. So live right across the street, and she visits us in the summer. So.
Mr.
And
President,
she's getting taller.
is that the little girl that disappeared into the snowbank?
Yes, she is the one that disappeared into the snowbank.
Very
Yes,
well
she
done.
did. She did. But they found her. So she's here. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming, Mr. Carlson. Hey, we will move on to our presentations tonight. And let's see what we got here. We have budget. Yeah, we actually have a listen, it's going to be your first time out of the gate. Mrs. Susan Schwall, she will be presenting our first budget presentation. So without further ado, you're on.
Okay, can you hear me? So tonight I'm going to present budget workshop number 1 for the 26-27 school year budget. The budget documents for tonight are available on the table in board docs, and they will be posted on the district website. I'm going to present an overview of the 26-27 budget, including projected revenues and expenses, after which we will discuss the department budgets for computer assisted instruction and radio and TV. The budget presented tonight is in the early stages of development, as we are still exploring several areas including health insurance, the BOCES budget, and the projected fund balance. Tonight, the budget review agenda, we're going to go over anticipated revenues, state aid projections, the tax levy limit, anticipated expenses, and the department budgets for computer-assisted instruction and radio and TV. On the first slide, it compares the budgeted revenue for 25-26 with the proposed revenue for 26-27. You'll see that miscellaneous revenues, which include the BOCES refund, interest earned, E-rate refund, as well as pilot revenues will remain flat. And just to note, we have not received any new pilots this year. The state aid projections are showing an increase of $1,392,601 million, or a 4.4% increase, according to the governor's state aid estimates, which we received in January. I will also discuss further the state aid in more detail on another slide. The estimated tax levy shows an increase of $1,137,404, or a 3.88% increase, which is at the tax cap limit, and this increase will be also discussed further in another slide. The appropriated fund balance remains flat at $5.5 million, and this is an area we are still exploring. We are currently working with our financial advisors to project out the fund balance for the rest of the school year and the next 5 years, with the bottom line for revenue showing a projected increase of $2,814,738, or a 4.10% increase. The next slide discusses the projected state aid. The slide compares the 25-26 budgeted numbers for state aid to the governor's state aid run. Foundation aid is increasing by $227,737, or 1.07%, over the 26-27 budgeted numbers. Foundation aid is designed to provide funds based on student needs, poverty rates, property and income wealth, as well as regional costs. It should also be noted that the community set-aside funds, which is provided to high needs district of $204,625, is again included in our foundation aid. Lines 3 through 8 and line 11 are expense-based aids. These aids are reimbursed as a percentage of actual expenses from the prior year. You'll see transportation aid is increasing $209,715, or 6.09%. Our building aid is increasing by 1.6%, and BOCES aid is increasing by $869,040, or 46.76%, largely due to the Ulster County BOCES capital project payments. Lines 5 and 6 are excess cost aids, which provide reimbursement to school districts for high-cost special education services when students are placed out of district. Our private excess cost aid is increasing $994,383, and however, public excess cost aid is decreasing by $160,982. This is due to more of our special education students being placed in private special education schools compared to BOCES public placements. And overall, according to the governor's numbers, our state aid will increase by $1,392,601, or 4.47% over the 25-26 budgeted revenue.
I just want to make, I just want to make one comment. We say it every year, but the governor, I don't know. The governor's run comes out now. Now the dance starts with the negotiations, and most often we see these numbers increase by the time the state budget is passed. Increase, right? No promises, but that's usually what the trends are. So as soon as they settle on a budget, we'll see what those numbers are. Hopefully it'll be by April 1st or shortly thereafter, so we can modify this, or we can modify it after. But we're hoping for more. I just want to say.
Okay. So the next slide shows a draft of the tax cap calculator. The New York State tax cap formula is a mandatory calculation used to determine the maximum amount a school district can raise through property taxes without a supermajority vote. The calculation begins with the prior year tax levy and applies a growth factor as well as capital exemptions for the districts and BOCES capital debt. The first draft of this tax levy limit is $30,455,748 or a 3.88% increase over the 25-26 tax levy. And this next slide is just purely information. It's the last 5 years of our tax levy history, and we've always come in at the tax cap limit except for 2 years, 22-23 and 23-24, where we came in below the tax cap limit. The next slide is our first draft comparison of the 25-26 expenses to the projected 26-27 expenses. The projected expenses for 26-27 show a total increase of $2,814,717, or an increase of 4.10%. You'll see that program and capital salaries as well as benefits show an increase due to contractual obligations. Administrative salaries are also contractual, however, they are decreasing due to the retirement of a principal and HR specialist, and these positions will not be replaced. Health insurance is estimated to increase by double digits for next year, however, we will not know the final rate until March. Athletics shows an increase primarily due to additional stipends and team travel expenses. Special education costs are increasing due to additional services and students. The transportation expense is contractual and it increases by the CPI. The capital expenses are decreasing due to the last of 5 payments being made in this current school year to Ulster BOCES for their capital project. And overall, the projected expenses will increase by $2,814,737, or 4.10% over the 25-26 budget. But please keep in mind that this is just the first draft of the budget, as we are continuing to fine-tune the remaining department budgets. We'll have final numbers for the BOCES budget in February, and we'll have actual health insurance rates in March. This slide is just a summary of the overall proposed budget. It's showing the total first draft for the 26-27 budget of $71,422,510, an increase over last year's budget of 4.10%, and the proposed tax levy increase of 3.88% for a total of $30,455,748. And just expenses that are driving this budget increase are salaries, health insurance, pension contributions, special education costs, and transportation. So upcoming workshops, the second budget workshop will be on February 24th, and then March 10th to 24th. The final budget review is April 7th, and we'll have the budget hearing on May 12th. And just to mark your calendars, the budget vote will be May 19th, right here in this room from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Questions?
Any questions? Iris?
This isn't a question. I just want to compliment you on putting this information together. It's very comprehensive, and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anybody else? How do you feel, Sue? That's your first one. You good?
I feel better now.
All right. Thank you. We're going to give you a break and tell you to come on down. You're good.
Oh, wait, we're not done yet.
Oh, you're not done yet?
No.
I thought you were done.
So what's next?
Oh, there you go. What's
We're
next?
going to go over department presentations.
All right.
We're going to do computer-assisted instruction and radio and TV. We have Moses here, and Tim is here to answer any questions. So first up is computer-assisted instruction. So you have the budget documents in your board packs, and the overall increase for this department is $17,000 $543. The equipment is increasing by $31,150, or a 10.3% increase, and this is due to hardware costs increasing by up to 40%. The equipment rent and repair line is decreasing by $10,000, or 100%, because we've looked at the past few years, and $10,000 has been budgeted every year, but we haven't ever used it. So we
Excuse
took,
me, excuse me, Ms. Shaw, which line item on the agenda is this particular budget?
so in the board docs,
Yes,
there's a detail of the,
4.9, thank you, I'm sorry.
and then the software is also decreasing by $3,307, or 2%. So if there's any questions, Moses is here.
I do have a couple of questions on this particular department. Just the general question that I have is, with the increasing prevalence of artificial intelligence and the role it is beginning to command in every aspect of our lives, how are we prepared to meet that with equipment needs, and how does that affect this particular department, if at all?
Well, the integration of AI within computer-aided instruction is something that is usually policy driven by the board. Currently, right now, we are implementing any of the resources that are available to us through any of our BOCES or anything which is Ed Law 2D compliant. The way that AI works is anytime you actually interact with any AI agent, it's actually taking that data that you're utilizing and it's sending it across multiple endpoints, right? So anytime that our data is traveling, we're obligated by law to make sure that that is both encrypted at the endpoint and while in travel. And any entity that would be housing that data, we would need to have an EdLaw 2D contract signed with. Currently, anyone that is signed off with EdLaw 2D, we are utilizing for training. We are utilizing things such as Gemini, which is part of the Google Suite, and it is EdLaw 2D compliant.
Okay, so we have all of the hardware and resources necessary to keep up with utilizing AI to our benefit.
The beauty of the AI, everything with the AI is that it's kind of like the older systems where it is server-based, right? So the endpoint device doesn't require as much hardware to be able to utilize those services.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Ponte.
You're quite welcome.
I'm afraid to move it close. We do have a sample policy that the policy committee will consider with regard to AI and it functioning in a school district. It's on our list to go over.
Thank you, Madam Superintendent.
Moses, how are you set for equipment with your computers and everything?
So while our budget increases by 10.3% this year, it's actually, if you looked at the line items themselves, our equipment numbers are down. We're going to offset the change of that extra 10.3% of differences in devices utilizing our BOCES 525 COSER funds, which we'd normally utilize for things such as like electronic translators or things like that, but we could also utilize that for purchasing equipment.
Okay, thank you.
So next up is the Department for Educational TV and Radio, and Tim is here to answer any questions that you may have. For equipment, there's an increase of 100%, or $9,000 for acoustical panels for the new radio studio. The radio licensing line is going down 1,000, and just out of trending out the past couple of years, the budget amount has always been $7,500, and we've only spent approximately $6,000, so that was decreased. And materials and supplies is decreasing $5,200, or 25.1%.
Any questions for Mr. Lukaseski? Jody?
So I just have a question. You said part of it was for panels. Why wasn't that budgeted into our, when we designed the studio and the construction?
It was an architectural oversight to include it. They might not have thought we needed it. After setting it up, we often find other things that have to be added.
Any other questions for Mr. Lukaseski?
I do. So, Mr. Lukaseski, can you tell me, and I think I know, but, so what is involved in the educational TV and radio program?
When you say involved, you mean like,
Like, what is this 37, what is this $28,000 for? I know the
Where-
line items, but what do you do?
I don't see the line, I'm sorry,
So
explain it
what's the
to me.
function, so what's the function of the educational TV and radio?
The entire budget?
What's
Oh, what do I do? Well, we run the district-wide educational access TV channel, Channel 20. We also got our own YouTube channel. We try to record as many events here at the school as possible throughout the year, including sporting events and concerts, plays, Board of Ed meetings, and anything to do. We do events around the community, like the Blueberry Festival and place like that with WLV. We do live remotes with our 107.9 FM radio station, and with the licensing and all the music that we play and things like that. That's what encompasses the.
And Mr. O, you're able to do all of that for $28,000 a year?
We try our best.
Well, are there any areas where you need an increase in funding, is really my question.
Not that I see. I mean, right now, we're still going through like Lisa just mentioned, like no sound panels in the new radio studio that were, an architectural oversight. Things like that, we're still waiting. We're still getting everything built back up. Like, we're still not broadcasting the channel back at our new studio yet because the internet's being run as we speak. I mean, they're actually in there right now doing it. So hopefully soon we'll be broadcasting from back there like we used to in our channel. We'll be back downstairs and, we have more control. I had mentioned to Sue earlier, there was part of our budget, we had licensing a couple of years ago. We were getting programming, which we were getting old movies. Ray Fiola, who's a member of the community, he was adjusting our channel because we still put out an analog channel to Spectrum, which is the old 4x3, the old TV look, the more square look.
Okay.
Even though we record and broadcast everything in high def, widescreen, we can even go up to 4K now if we want to with some of the cameras we have. Spectrum has us dumbing it down, as you could say, and bringing it back to analog. So everything we do, like when I have my students in graphics class, they make bulletins for our TV channel. And when they make it in a widescreen, they don't make it in a widescreen version. I've had to mathematically configure what it takes to just stretch it left to right, so it pops back to be proportional when it goes. So we've had to do a lot of that kind of work. Thanks to our mayor, Evan Trent, he is in this discussion with Spectrum now of them changing our signal, hopefully, to widescreen.
Yeah.
So it'll change all that, but.
So that's all in Spectrum's court?
Yes, it's in Spectrum's court. So right now, they're proposing some sort of grant to us that'll help us offset some equipment costs that we would have to have in-house here, and they would take care of the stuff at their head end if this all takes place. So again, these are all things we're waiting on, so we don't know what we're going to need or how we'll need it, if we need anything.
Are there more district events you think need coverage?
Are there more district events?
District events that you think need coverage? Do you have the resources necessary to cover all of the events?
Well, based on the timing and what we can do, yes. So, certain situations, like there was a basketball game last night that we did not know was rescheduled from last Friday until noontime yesterday, and I had nothing scheduled to be there. No one, you know what I mean. So we were unable to do the game last night. We were scheduled to do the game tonight, but we had after-school activities canceled, so that's going to be postponed. So we try to do, some nights we do 2 or 3 events in a night, the same night. Like tonight was going to be a basketball game and this board meeting. So on average, we do between 120 and 140 events a year.
Phenomenal.
Throughout the district. Whether it's a half-hour elementary play to a 3-hour football game or anywhere in between, we do we try to cover as many of those events as we can based on time, weather, technical difficulties. Like you said, with the new construction project and the new field, there's going to, that'll be the next year or two or whenever that's done. So we'll see how all that pans out. But right now, our budget, Alan and I put it together and we hope it works. So.
Do you have the funding necessary to operate?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Excellent.
I can assure you, Mr. Bruce will provide you with those large economic funds. A thought. Jody.
So You spoke about that spectrum, we might be moving on to getting the widescreen and upping our equipment. Should we be budgeting for that, or do we have a place where we could tap into if that becomes necessary next year? I would hate for us to be held back if we don't have the funds.
So historically, we don't have, historically, the village has the agreement with Time Warner Cable on feeds.
Spectrum.
I'm sorry, it used to be Time Warner Cable.
Yeah, exactly.
I have post-traumatic stress disorder from Time Warner Cable.
Back when Dan Donovan was here.
Yeah, and we had a lot of issues, but, and I don't mean to make anyone feel uncomfortable, but Dennis Warner was really instrumental in pushing them along with the village at the time and the town. But those agreements happen through the municipalities. So they do advocate for us to get what we need. I'm not sure that I can enter into a contract with Spectrum directly, but we will look into that to see. I don't know how much that would be, but they do advocate to get grants, and that's how we started this TV station a long time, probably 30 years ago, if not more. It came with a grant from Time Warner Cable and a lot of perseverance and a lot of lobbying from the municipalities, and I have no doubt that the mayor's doing that now, but see what they can get us, you know, through Spectrum. But we'll bring it back to you if there's anything, there's a difference.
Thank you. And thank you, Tim, for all you do, and thank your students as well.
No problem. Thanks. Have a good night.
So that's the end of the budget workshop for tonight. Just a reminder, budget workshop number 2 is February 24th.
All right.
Thank you.
Madam
So
Superintendent.
I can invite you down now? Or you still want to stay up there? All right.
Madam Superintendent, side note, a few meetings ago, we had discussed the possibility, or maybe I just asked whether it was possible, to look into translating our district events into Spanish. I know it's an undertaking, but I'd like to know what would be involved, at least in an outline. Thank you.
Can I ask a question, Willie? Are you referring to like when they have ball games and stuff, so the announcing, is that what you mean, stuff like that?
Our meeting.
Our meeting.
Translate our meeting, translate basketball games, translate the things that we broadcast as a district.
On the videos?
Yeah.
Yes, on the video, not the transcripts necessarily.
We have
The
Marisol here.
videos.
She can translate anything you want.
Hi, Marty. How you doing, Marty?
All right, we will move on to our reports and correspondence. Nothing from me, board membership. And we'll move on to Jack Henry. Jack, what's happening?
Good evening, everybody. So for happenings and events, during the weekend of the 23rd and the 24th of January, Ellenville's choirs from each of the elementary, junior high, and senior high school were all represented at the UCMEA All-County Choir Festival at Saugerties. The choirs from Ellenville combined with 9 other Ulster County schools to create an amazing weekend of music making. Last week, the Junior High School Drama Club took the stage to perform the musical Shrek Jr. Kudos to everybody involved and congratulations on an amazing performance. As writing and rhetoric begins for students in Miss Fagan's college English class, there are 2 students that were recognized by SUNY New Paltz for exceeding ratings on their Composition 1 portfolios. Those 2 students were Lila Denman and Joshua Laverdure. The Student Council will be continuing their annual tradition of handing out hot chocolate on PS I Love You Day. That will be this Friday, so stop by the high school cafeteria to grab a cup. And speaking of Mr. L, who's here tonight, I would like to congratulate his TV and radio class, in which his students were recipients of all 3 prizes for the Ulster County TikTok Prevention Council. In first place was Kiara Nabinger, Eva Orfanos was second place, and a group of students took third place. That group was Caleb Norat, Aiden Hillman, Melanie Gordon, Cassius Gray, and Miguel Caba. As we move to athletics, last week the varsity track and field teams competed at the Sullivan County Championships, but many standout performances and highlights came from the Section 9 Championships at West Point on January 30th. Christian Zielinski finished in first place for both long jump and triple jump. Roxanne Ross placed second in the girls' shot put, and the boys 4x800 relay team featuring Jonah Althouse, Mason Birchtold, Evan Levine, and Landon Cruz placed third. The track teams will compete at the Ocean Breeze Invitational in Staten Island this Friday, as well as the Section 9 Invitational on February 16th. The state qualifiers meet will be February 28th at the Armory. The girls varsity basketball team is on the road tomorrow against Dover, but will be home against Weebatuck on Friday. The boys will be on the road in Weebatuck on Friday, and both teams will host their senior nights for a doubleheader on February 20th. The girls will play at 4:30 versus Rhinebeck, and the boys at 5:45 against SS Seward. Finally, spring sports signups are now open on Family ID. Spring sports will include varsity track and field, boys baseball, girls softball, boys tennis, and girls golf. Varsity sports will begin on March 9th. And finally, for fundraisers, the class of 2027 is selling Gertrude Hawk chocolate bars. The class of 2028 is selling Corey's Pickles. That will be due next Wednesday, February 18th. The class of 2029 is selling flowers, and the pickup for those flowers will be this Friday, the 13th. The Spanish Honor Society is selling Krispy Kreme. Chamber Singers are selling Singing Valentines, and tomorrow is the last day Chamber Singers will be selling. To purchase, it is $3 in person, and to be sung on a phone call, it'll be $4. Singing Valentines are sold during lunch periods 4, 5, and 6. Because Valentine's Day will fall on a Saturday this year, all Singing Valentines will be delivered on Friday, the 13th.
It's kind of an oxymoron to have a singing Valentine on Friday the 13th.
Oh, man, yeah.
Thank you for that in-depth report. Jack, we will move on to our Superintendent, Lisa Wiles.
So just two things based on what Jack said or reported out. Mr. Lukaseski's group, those students that won the TikTok challenge will be at the next board meeting under District Spotlight, and there'll be someone here from the county also to recognize them and show you exactly what their messaging was. And I do want to really reiterate, our music department had a really good run on some competitions and did great, and the play was excellent. We have the play coming up now for the senior high. It's going to be Footloose, and watch for the dates on all of these events on the website, because it's really a treat if you have the opportunity to come. There were really good turnout for both nights of the play, and it's really nice to see. And the kids worked really hard. Our students worked really hard, not the kids. We're very appreciative of that.
Thank you. Move on to our School Business Administrator, Sue Schwal.
I do not have anything.
You're all
to
talked out.
report.
Deputy Superintendent Kelly White.
Our school climate survey is closing on Friday, so I just wanted to remind parents and staff and students, if they haven't had the opportunity to complete this survey, check either your student email, the parent email that was provided to the district for our parent portal, and teachers was the survey was sent directly to their emails. And I also want to give a shout out to the Singing Valentines. It's the best $4 I spend every year. They call Mr. White, they sing a song, and that's $4. So I encourage all our board members to purchase one for their partner this season as well.
Okay, our Assistant Superintendent for Personnel, Mr. Scott Prokash.
I do not have any items this evening.
Thank you very much. Before we move on, just a big thank you for Marisol stepping in, but a big shout out from the board. Our confidential secretary Nafisa's birthday today, so we wish her a very happy birthday, and hope she's enjoying the night off. I will now entertain a motion for a consent agenda due to the inclement weather and pending bad weather. Want to get everybody home safely, and that is the reason for the consent agenda. I will entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No one? Motion carries. Isabella, come on up. You're going to ring the gavel for tonight, like Wall Street. Like Wall Street. You're going to say, meeting adjourned, and then hit the gavel. Ready? Come on up. Say, meeting adjourned?
Meeting
Adjourned.
adjourned?
We found your replacement, Phil.
One day you might be sitting over there.